Good evening, everybody. I want to talk a little bit about child sacrifice this evening. Might sound a bit way out there and all that kind of stuff, but from the origins of child sacrifice, as far as I can gather, um, they go way back to the Babylonian religions and even the Israelite religions, some of the pagan religions in this country. And people used to sacrifice children to gain favour with the gods. So they would sacrifice children so it would go well with them. I suppose you could say it was for convenience, you know. And the funny thing is that the kind of people that get picked on in society and abused are generally the weak, the young, the weak, or the old and the weak. But children used to get sacrificed, like on an altar, throat slit or whatever. And I want to try and draw your attention a little bit to something that's happening in our day and age. I mean, one of them's quite obvious, really. We talk about, how we do what we do to children, so it will go well with us, or convenience. Well, the obvious one is abortion, isn't it? So we get a child growing in our bodies. Well, not me personally, but a woman will, and I'm not calling women murderers per se who do that, because society kind of promotes it. So when society promotes something, it does. We are personally responsible, but because it's pushed the way that it's pushed, and it's kind of advocated, and it's it's a kind of the done thing. Everybody does it, so it's okay. That lemming mentality. So I'm not kind of pointing the finger, although I'm trying to draw attention. But one of the things that got to me recently was, so if you remember the achoo that happened in 2020 and went on as a bit of a epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you believe about it, it's irrelevant for what I'm about to say, but it shows an attitude. And I want to say something about the value of children as well, and what God thinks about children, the real God, not Molech or any of the other kind of old pagan gods, which really they're all Satan, they're all demonic. That's the truth. Our God, I mean, we talk about Jesus. Jesus talked about children. I remember the disciples said he was telling children to clear off from around Jesus, and he told them not to clear them off. And then further on, Jesus said, you'll have to look up the scriptures yourself. This has come to my mind now, so I want to say it now. Jesus said it'd be better for you to have a millstone tied around your neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble or sin. So he kind of he held them in high esteem, didn't he? But I mean, kind of the abortion thing leans towards children being inconvenient, doesn't it? As if there's some kind of problem. And I understand it. It's a difficult thing to bring up children. I understand that. But go back to the kind of the kind of the illness thing that was around, and then you got the kind of cure for it. Supposedly, we all know now it's not that way, is it? And we know that the risk for children was virtually zero of anything going wrong with them. With the kind of with the disease. So the cure, if the cure had any risk at all, it made it insane, not logical to kind of give it to children, didn't it? But the kind of the rhetoric went on to say that for the sake of keeping the older people, the older people like myself, and then even the older people, just people that were adults, safe, the children had to be. And we know as well about transmission, don't we, that like it didn't stop transmission, so there was there was no real point in it, was there, for the children to take part in that cure. But can you see the kind of similarity? Can you see the parallel? So we throw the children under the bus for the convenience of the adults. I don't know if you'll quite see that. And another thing that's sprung to my mind about it all, because it's become quite inverted, society has. It's not. I don't think many people are thinking quite straight now. What with all the kind of propagation of fear that's coming through the news, every time you read news, it's something negative to try and put a poor spin on your day or your life or the stuff that you're doing and all that kind of thing. I saw a warning online earlier about log burners being dangerous for your health. So they've made gas so you can't afford it and electric so you can't afford it, and now they don't want you to keep warm at all. So what's that all about? I'll leave you to think about that one. But this is the serious one here, and so do you know YouTube, which we're on now, and you've got TikTok, aren't you? You've got Instagram, you've got all that social media stuff. And I drive to work in the morning, sometimes during the time when kids walk to school, and they're all stuck to their phones. They're all on their phones. I know myself, because I've had to stop the Facebook thing and even looking at my phone, because it advertises to me the things I like to buy and tries to tempt me with other stuff and all this, because it's insidious. It learns you, and then it kind of tries to pull you in and to keep you there. That's how they make their money, isn't it? All the clicks, you click on this and you click on that, and Google makes money through the adverts. And they don't care about your health, your mental health, or anything about you, really. They're into taking money, aren't they? Now, if you think about the advertising and you think about children, when we give our children these devices with screens, and if you look into the people who invented the screens, they knew what they were doing when they invented the touchscreen. They knew it was going to be something that people would get pulled into. So when we, out of convenience sometimes, isn't it? So that we can have a quiet life, we give our children these devices to look at. I mean, there's people I know that refer to them as tech babysitters. So it's a babysitter, isn't it? If you look at the way that children are starting to take up the look, the look of the celebrity, even the look of the porn star, it's promoted through all this stuff, the coloured hair, the makeup, the lips, the whole shebang. It's pushed, isn't it? I've got ideas why it's pushed, but I couldn't tell you that for true. But what I know is true is these devices are schooling our kids. They're propagating our kids. The kids identifying as not hetero, let's say, if not, I don't want to use the wrong words. It's going up and up and up and up and up. So I would say we put our kids in the hands of the enemy, the hands of Satan, really. The hands of these capitalist people that really don't care what happens to your children. I mean, I think child sacrifice, a knife to the throat, is a lot kinder than this torturous propagation where children think they have to keep up with the people that look really, I'm not going to say nice because I don't think so, but they look really popular. They look really popular, the popular look. Because you know children are impressionable. And some of the looks I see on kids' faces when I'm driving around when looking at their phones is torturous, because I can see in their faces that they're not happy now with the way that they'll look because something's been pushed to them. So now they're chasing that, or they've not got enough likes or whatever. It doesn't bode for good mental health. And some of the situations I've been in emotionally in my life, I honestly think I'd have been a lot less in pain if I'd been dead. So, child sacrifice, I don't think it's just limited to passing them over, sticking them on a rock and cutting their throat. I think it comes in many forms. And I think it's because we don't value our children the way that we should do. So I'm going to keep it short and I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you're all okay. Don't buy into the fear. But think about the children. Think about the children. Better you school them than these people. Because they're just money makers. And Satan's behind it all, believe me. Thank you. Have a good evening. Please leave a like, maybe subscribe, or a comment, or a dislike even. Bye.